this is Nikki. Welcome back to Nikki's Homemade Crafts YouTube channel. Welcome to part 1 of the Cable Mystery Crochet Along for March 2024. We're using some Mary Maxim Glimmer yarn, which is a worsted yarn, and I used the color lavender, but for this tutorial, just to make sure you guys can see what I am actually teaching you, I'm going to use the color salmon. I'm also using a 4mm crochet hook. The written instructions for this Mystery Crochet Along pattern will be at the link down below in the description. You can get the pattern free with ads on my website, or you can get it ad-free in my membership called the Crochet Club, where you can get access to over 400 additional patterns, all ad-free in a vault if you're a full member, plus extra support and weekly live tutorials as well as monthly get-togethers. So reference the link down below in the description or the first comment if you need to get access to this written pattern. So let's get started with part 1. Start with a chain of 41. We're going to end up with 40 stitches for every row. Start with the second chain from the hook and crochet 1 alternative turning chain or stacked single crochet. So you're going to make a single crochet and then insert your hook into the loop that's closest to your yarn finger, yarn over and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through. So that is a stacked single crochet, also known as the alternative turning chain, and equivalent to a double crochet. So right here, the top V right there is where you insert your hook when you come around for row 2. So for the rest of the row, you're just going to crochet double crochet stitches. So 1 double crochet stitch per stitch or per chain, however you want to call it. And at the end of the row, you're going to turn. Once you're done, you're going to turn. We're now going to do again an alternative turning chain. So I recommend keeping up with that, or you can also do a chain of 3 and count it as a stitch. It's up to you. I prefer the alternative turning chain because it's much cleaner than any of the other ones and keeps a straight edge. You're now going to crochet 6 more double crochet stitches. So you will have 7 in a row because we're counting the alternative turning chain as one of them. Now you're going to crochet a front post double crochet stitch. So you're going to go around the double crochet 1 row below, but you're going to insert your hook after you yarned over from the front to the back and coming back out to the front. So you're pushing it forward. So that is a front post double crochet. So you're going to do a yarn over after you've done so, and you're going to finish it up like a regular double crochet. In the next stitch, you're going to place a double crochet. And in the following stitch, you're going to place again a front post double crochet. Now crochet 6 double crochets in a row. Now you need to decide whether you're okay with gaps before and after the cable, or if you prefer not having gaps. Let me show you what I'm actually talking about. So this is the project I did with the lavender color, and you can see it's a little darker, which is why I'm not choosing it for the tutorial, but that's not the point. So I decided to have one area right here down below where the cable is starting, and I just did another double crochet. So if you can see here, there's 7 double crochets in a row, and then you start the cable. And what happens is you have a little tiny gap here, and there's a little hole, okay, on both sides. And I did it over here too, and then 7 double crochets over here. Now over here, on the other hand, when I did the next cable right here, there is no gap, or there's a very tiny gap. Can you see that? It's like super tiny, okay? So this is done by doing a double crochet decrease using the same stitch as we're using for the cable. So you need to pretty much decide, are you going to be able to remember that there is a double crochet decrease, therefore keeping the stitch count the same, or are you just going to place a double crochet? Okay, so let me show you the difference in the actual crochet. Now that you can see the difference visually, here's a gap where we just do 7 double crochets in a row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then over here, we did 6 double crochets in a row and then a decrease. This decrease is connected to the same stitch as the front post, so right here. So the stitch count is the same. So let me show you that in the actual crochet. So if you just do a regular double crochet right here, you know it's just going to create that gap, which is fine, okay? If that's what you do, that is okay. I'm just going to show you really quickly on what that means if you do a decrease, okay? So you already know how to do double crochet, so in that case, that's fine. So what you would do is a decrease over the next 2 stitches. So it's 2 double crochets in a decrease. You see that? Those are 2 unfinished double crochet stitches, yarn over and pull through, and therefore you can see here on the top we still have 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right now you are going to reuse the stitch where you made your decrease. So this stitch right here is going to be reused. That is how we stay the same in a stitch count. So now let me show you what we're doing as the actual cable, and you can see how we're going to reuse this one, okay? Now keep in mind, if you want to do a regular cable, you're probably not going to do this decrease, okay? And I'll show you that here on the back end, so that way you can see that a little bit more closely. Okay, so now let's focus on the actual cable. The cable is going to be worked over 6 stitches. So this is stitch 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, those 6 stitches, we're reusing this stitch right here. Okay, so that means you're going to make treble crochet stitches as front post stitches, but you're going to skip the first 3 stitches. So we're going to skip number 1, 2, and 3 right now, and we're going to start with number 4 and just going to make a front post treble crochet. So I yarned over twice before I went into the stitch. Okay, and now let's do that again for the stitch 5 and for stitch 6. Okay, so that's our first set. Okay, so now we need to go back and work the first 3 stitches. We're again doing front post treble crochet stitches. So we're going to start with stitch 1. So we have here 1, 2, 3. We're going to start with stitch 1, and we're going to do it from the front. So you can see how I'm bending it from the front and just going to place it around it. So this is going to be a little challenging even for camera view because it's going to be hard to see, but we're now going to place a front post double crochet on stitch 1. Okay, I like to kind of turn my work here a little bit, makes it easier. And now we're going to go and do it around number 2. So we have 2 and 3 over here. Feel free to add like stitch markers to it if you've never done cables before. That might be helpful. And now we're going to do it on stitch number 3. These are all front post stitches, okay? Front post treble crochet stitches. So now we finished them. Okay, so we have now our cable going, and there's that X happening, right? So now we need to do our next stitch. Okay, so right here is supposed to be a double crochet. So I'm going to show you what happens if you just place a double crochet. Okay, so I'm going to lay it down so you can see it a little bit more closely. Okay, so here I placed just a double crochet. And let me pull this a little bit because once you make some stitches, it's a lot easier to see. So you can see how there's a gap right here because we just made a double crochet. And then over here, there's no gap because we made that decrease right here. Okay, so now see how this looks like? I'm going to show you now how to make this go away. So if you pull this back out, instead of doing a regular double crochet on that very first stitch after the cable, so it's the same as before the cable, you're going to reuse this number 6 stitch. Okay, so you're always reusing number 1 and number 6. So right here is number 6. So I'm going into that number 6 stitch. See, we already used it, but we're going back in it, making an unfinished double crochet. Then going in the next stitch, also making an unfinished double crochet. So we have 2 unfinished double crochets, yarn over and pull through. So let me now pull this out here a little bit and lay it down. And you can see how the gap is much, much smaller. Okay, it's much smaller, and I'm pulling here so you can see it a little bit more. So it's a much smaller gap. So that gap is now half of the size pretty much, because we're taking it up with a little decrease right there. So now that you understand that, okay, you need to decide, are you going to remember to make these decreases, or are you just going to make 7 double crochet stitches, cable, 7 double crochet stitches? It's up to you. Okay, I wanted to spend a little bit more time on this so you really understand it. So now we're going to do 6 more double crochet stitches, because we already made 1, but as a decrease, right? So 6 more, just regular double crochet stitches. And now we're going to repeat what we did over here. So we're going to do a front post double crochet, a double crochet, another front post double crochet. And after that, you're just going to place double crochet stitches into every stitch until the end of the row, and then you're going to turn. Okay, so now we're on the back side of our project. So we're now going to always place a double crochet on all the double crochets, okay? And then the front post stitches right here, okay, we're going to do the opposite. So in this case, we made a front post, but now we're on the back side. We're going to make back post double crochet stitches. And then right here, we're just going to make on top of the cables, we're also going to make back post double crochet stitches. We're not going to make a decrease on this. The decrease only happens when you actually do the cable, when the twisting happens. After that, you don't do it, okay? That means we're just going to place double crochet stitches for the first 7 stitches. So remember, the very first one is always the alternative turning chain, or some kind of equivalent to it, to make it double crochet. Now wherever you place your front post double crochet in a previous row, you're now going to place a back post. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your yarn over, you're going to go around it, but this time from the back. You can see that my hook is in the back of it. You go around the stitch in the back, yarn over, pull through, finish it up like a double crochet. And the next stitch again is a regular double crochet. And then the following stitch, again, a back post double crochet. So it's easy to remember when it's the back post. It's in the back, and you're working your hook in the back, and the front will be in the front, right? So the next 7 stitches are just going to be double crochet stitches, including the one where the decrease happened. You see that? We're just going to place the regular double crochet on top. So now for the next 6 stitches, which are part of this cable, right? You're going to go in order of what you see. Okay, so after it was worked, so you can kind of see where the stitch is going along, and that's where you're going to place your stitches. But it's not treble crochet stitches, we're going straight, but it's double crochet stitches as back posts, because we need to continue with the cable, and the cable's now in the back, so we're going to do back post double crochets. So 6 of them in a row. There you go. And now you're going to repeat over here the same thing as you did in the beginning. So 7 double crochet stitches, back post double crochet, and back post double crochet, and then 7 more double crochet stitches. Finish this row up and then turn. All right, so this is how our work looks like so far. So we're now going to do the next row, and the next row is very simple and straightforward. You're just going to place double crochet stitches on top of the double crochet stitches, and front post stitches on top of the front post, which you're looking at, right? We just did back post, but when you turn around, it looks like a front post. So the post stitches. So you're going to place a front post double crochet on top of the post stitches, right? And that includes the cable. So there's no twisting in this row. It's very straightforward. So let me show you the first part of it, and then the second part you just repeat. So again, start with an alternative turning chain, and then 6 double crochets in addition to that, so it makes it 7. Now right here is where the post stitch happens, so you're now going to make a front post double crochet. Then the next stitch is a double crochet, and the following stitch again a front post double crochet. And in the next 7 stitches, you're just going to place double crochet stitches, so 1 in each. And now we have here the cables, right? So these are the 6 post stitches that we had just placed in the back. And now we're going to go around them and we're going to place front post double crochet stitches on top of them. So there should be 6 in a row. And now the back of it is exactly the same thing as the front, which means you're going to place 7 double crochet stitches, then a front post double crochet, a double crochet, front post double crochet, and then double crochets until the end. Then you turn. All right, so now we're going to do another cable row, but this time from the back view. So let's do this. So again, we're going to do 7 double crochet stitches in the beginning, one of them, the first one being the alternative turning chain, then again 6 regular double crochets. Then you're going to do a back post double crochet. So you can see that the posts are always in one side only. So you just always have to flip depending on where you are. So you're either making a front or a back. So we're on the back side of it. So we're making a back post double crochet. Now we're going to make 6 double crochet stitches. And here's where you have to decide again. Are you going to make that decrease or are you just going to make a regular double crochet? Personally, I think for beginners, it might be easier just to do the double crochet, but I'm going to show you again how to do it with the decrease. So if you are an absolute beginner, you don't care about that little gap, just make a regular double crochet and then do the cable. For everyone else, you're going to make the decrease over 2 stitches, 2 unfinished double crochet stitches, and decrease. One of those stitches, the second one, is actually that front post, right, from this direction. So what you're now going to do is you need to make sure you're counting that stitch again. Okay, so this is stitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're now going to make back post treble crochet stitches, and we're going into the stitch 4, 5, and 6. So remember, this is 1, 2, 3. So this is 4. So go around it. Okay, this is all back post. These are treble crochet stitches. We only make treble crochet stitches when we make cables, at least for this project. Now we're going around 5, all back post, treble crochet, and 6. And now it's a little bit tricky. Okay, here's the thing. We're now going to do 1, 2, and 3, but we're not doing it from the front. Okay, it's more kind of a behind tucked situation. Okay, so what you're going to do is you have to open up this area right here. Okay, and you need to do a back post, but in this little gap. So that's a little bit challenging. Okay, so remember, this is stitch 1 where we just made that decrease. So you're going to go into that hole after you did your 2 yarn overs, go around it, find your stitch, okay, and pull it up a little bit. That's what I like to do, pull it up, and then make my treble crochet. So you can see here, I placed that treble crochet stitch, the back post, right, on that same stitch as I used for that decrease, right? So make sure you do that, otherwise your stitch count is going to be off. And now if you wiggle it a little bit, you can see there's 2 stitches left, 1 and 2, right? These 2 stitches right here. So we're still going to use those. So go back into the hole, pull one of them up like so, and make your treble crochet stitch. These are all back post, as I said. And now the last one. Last one's usually the most challenging because everything gets tight. So it's right here. So you go around it, pull it up. This pulling up motion is the easiest to do. If you remember that, it's very, very easy to do after that. You just have to find it and pull it, okay? Now you're done with that. So if you turn your project now around, you can see it replicates the bottom, right? So it's the same direction. Now again, you need to decide, are you going to make the 1 double crochet or are you making it as a decrease? Again, I show you as a decrease. So we're going to reuse this stitch right here that we used as the back post. So you see there's a post stitch right here. We're using that stitch again. Okay, so right here we're going to go in the same stitch where the back post is. Okay, and make a half finished or unfinished double crochet. Then you go in a regular double crochet stitch, the next stitch, also unfinished, yarn over and pull through, and you have that one stitch. Okay, so if you turn around, you can see it now here a little bit more clearly. See right here, this is where the back post happened, right here, and we reused that stitch right behind it. See that? Because we did it as a back post, there was still the V's here on the top. We can use it, so we used it right there. You can also ignore this part and just make double crochet stitches. Okay, so we're now going to do 6 more after that, and then of course you're doing your back post again, right? Then a regular double crochet, again a back post double crochet, and then finish up the row with just double crochet stitches. All right, so this is how it looks like so far, and don't worry, with a little bit of blocking, this is all going to be straight in the end. Okay, so now you're going to repeat the row you just had done before. Okay, so let me count the rows so it's very easy to remember. So we have row 1, okay, which is just double crochet. Then row 2, okay, was where we started with the front post double crochet stitches and we made the cable, right? Then double crochet again and the front post. Then we have row 3 where we did back post double crochet stitches where the post stitches were, and the rest of it is double. Then over here it was also back post double crochet, back post, double crochet, right? That was row 3. Now row 4, we did front post again where the post stitches are. Rest of it is double crochet. Again, front post over here, double crochet, front post, double crochet. Okay, then we turned around, which is row 5, which we just finished, what we did. I'm ignoring the double crochets right now, you know them, but there was back post over here, and then these ones were back post treble crochet stitches, but you know, twisted in a different way. And then here again, back post double crochet. So what you're now going to do is you're going to do row 4 again, right here, and then you're going to do row 3 again after that, and then you're going to do row 2 again. Okay, so it's kind of like backwards. Okay, so you're just going to repeat those that I just said. So you're going to do, after row 5, you're going to do row 4, then 3, then 2, and then you go back up. 3, 4, 5. Then you go back down. 4, 3, 2. Then 3, 4, 5. So it's this back and forth, okay? Literally, that's what you're doing. And it's going to look like this in the end. You're going to do this until you have 24 rows, and it's going to look like this. Okay, I recommend blocking it a little bit. It should be, mine is about 10.5 inches, okay, in both directions. It should be between 10 and 11, depending on your tension, okay? And you want to make sure that you are even. So make sure it's a square. It's important to have a square. So again, mine is about 10.5 and 10.5. Okay, that's what my measurement is. And as I said, you have 40 stitches across. You have to make sure you keep counting your stitches. Okay, I ripped this out a few times myself because I forgot to count my stitches right here in the middle, okay, where I did those little decreases right here, and I forgot a few of them, or I didn't count properly, and then I had to, you know, rip it back out. So make sure you keep your stitch count the same. There are 7 here, 7 in total here, 7, 7, then there's 3, 3, and these are always 6. Okay, which turns out in the end 40 stitches per row and 24 rows. Okay, at least for me. You know, it's a mystery crochet along, so I always say measurement over row / stitch count. However, we want this to kind of be even. Okay, so if you need to add an extra row, that's fine. But adding extra stitches or so, that may make it a little bit off because we want these kind of to be even. So be careful on that part. So aim for the row count to measure the same as the width. Okay, so if you need to add or remove a row over here, that's okay. And remember, you're still blocking it a little bit. So put it on a blocking board and make sure everything is even, right? And then you can go ahead and go to part 2 when it's available. I hope you enjoyed this. It is a super fun way to get started with cables. So you learned a few different things here. You learned front and back post stitches, both as double and treble crochet stitches. You learned how to make this beautiful cable twist here, which has 2 strands only. I use 2-stranded braids because I want you to first get started easily. But I also taught you how to get rid of that little gap here, which is a little bit challenging because you have to remember that you're only doing it when you're twisting, and you need to make sure your stitch count stays the same, okay? But again, if you're okay with having those little gaps, then just ignore that decrease. Totally fine. You just make 7 double crochet stitches here, 7 here, and having the cable in the middle. Totally fine as well. It's up to you, okay? Now, I hope this was very helpful to you. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I really wanted to make sure I'm very clear, especially for those who are beginners. Now, quick reminder again, the written instructions for everything is down below in the description. You have 2 choices, either the free with ads on my website or the ad-free in my membership, the Crochet Club. So go grab your pattern and get started with part 1. Then post your picture of part 1 of your finished part 1 like this, and post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki. And use the hashtag MAR24MCAL, and that way I can find your project and celebrate you. I hope to see you for part 2. Are you ready? Let's go. Now remember, I have a membership called the Crochet Club, and it has over 400 ad-free patterns with checkoff boxes and additional tutorials, VIP access to me teaching you every single week what you want to be taught, whether it's stitches, tips, amigurumi, little patterns, or anything else. On a monthly basis, we vote on what you want to see the next month, and every week I go live and teach you exactly what you want to be taught. So come join my membership if you want to get my patterns ad-free and get a really fun community with it, as well as me teaching you exactly what you want to be taught. I'll see you in the membership. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a new video or go live. Now go ahead and watch the next video. I'm sure you want to. I'll see you next time. Bye.